I first learned about AAAs when my father was diagnosed with one. I was 18 years old. I was a freshman in college, and I got a phone call, an urgent phone call, that my dad was in the hospital. By the time everybody made their way to the hospital, we had been told and learned that he had an abdominal aortic aneurysm rupture. And at that point, doctors said that there was very little they could do. It was a big shock to everybody in the family, and he died just a short time after everybody made their way to the hospital. It took us some time to really think about what had happened and go back and start to work with doctors to learn about the medical history of other members of my family. And that is when we realized that his father, my grandfather, had a AAA, and his brother also had one, but because they had not ruptured, because they did not lead to death, because they had been treated, nobody really had it on their radar that it could be a potential problem for anybody else in the family. When we found out that he had a AAA, everybody was shocked. We had no idea, first, what it even meant, and second, what the prognosis would be. We were just told that he was in surgery and they were doing everything that they could do. It really took us a long time after the fact and on our own to do some investigating and to ask important questions for us to really have a full understanding of what a AAA is, how a AAA could affect other members of the family, and what we needed to do to be proactive to make sure that we remain safe because of the genetic link. Obviously, AAAs have had a huge impact on my life. I mean, first and foremost, I lost my father to a AAA. My grandfather had one. He was able to survive. His other son, my dad's brother, had one. So, I mean, they are very prominent in my family, and as a result, I have to stay very alert and aware to symptoms myself to make sure that I also am able to detect one if I do have a problem down the road. So aneurysms are now a part of my life, whether I want them to be or not. But I feel blessed because I have an opportunity and I have the information to catch a problem before it could become fatal. Now that I know about the family history and we put the pieces of the puzzle together, I know that I have to take action to make sure that I remain safe and healthy. So right now at about every 3 years, I'll have an abdominal ultrasound to get a good look inside to make sure that there are no potential problems with aneurysms. I also work with my team here in Detroit, my local doctor, staying on top of it. I get a physical every year, but really the key for me is having that ultrasound and just making sure that everything looks the way it should right now. I personally want to share my story and for people to know about the importance of learning about your own family history. It is key that if a family member of yours has had an aneurysm, that you need to take action to talk with your doctor about that. You need to get an abdominal ultrasound. You need to stay on top of it. If you don't, you could end up having a situation just like my father, a perfectly healthy man who one day just collapses and dies within a half an hour.